I've not been watching the Olympics, but I've been watching interviews with United States Olympic athletes, and something has really stood out to me.
It's definitely a tough time in our country right now, and I think I just continue to represent my values, which is compassion and respect and love for others, and also to represent my community at home and those that have given us the opportunities to be here. It's a very special experience.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
I think there's a lot of hardship in the world, globally. And there's a lot of heartbreak. There's a lot of violence. It can be tough to reconcile that when you're also competing for medals in an Olympic event. I actually have some thoughts. I can read something that I had written, if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead.
So last night at the opening ceremonies, Charlize Theron, she had quoted Nelson Mandela. And I don't have the quote off the top of my mind because I'm not brilliant. Peace is not just the absence of conflict. Peace is the creation of an environment where we can all flourish, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, gender, class, caste, or any other social markers of difference. And for me, as this relates to the Olympics, I'm really hoping to show up and represent my own values of inclusivity, values of diversity and kindness and sharing, tenacity, work ethic, showing up with my team every single day, like I said before, the values that we bring and put out on the mountain and on the hill every single day.
Parents being immigrants, this one definitely hits pretty close to home, and I think in moments like these, it is really important for us to unite and kind of stand up for one another, for all that's going on. And I think that I'm really proud to represent the United States. The U.S. has given my family and I so much opportunity, but I also think that we are allowed to voice our opinions on what's going on. And I think that we need to lead with love and compassion.
We have these young athletes who have dedicated themselves to their sport. They have trained so hard. This is the highlight of their career. It should be a moment of hope and pride for them. And we are seeing them show up with authenticity about the way that it is a really mixed experience right now. They are showing up and they are telling the world what it's like to be an American citizen in this moment and to have really, really complex feelings about your country. And listening to their heartfelt responses to reporters' questions, I had kind of two main reactions. One is gratitude for their honesty. The Olympics are always this moment where, the government and our society tries to drum up patriotism, right? We are so proud of our athletes and how hard they train and how they represent all of us. Here they are representing us. They are speaking openly and honestly about how difficult it is right now. That sense of shame that our government is causing so much harm. The sentiments and the actions of the federal government don't represent our values and are arguably incredibly un-American. But also the pride that we have in all of the millions of people who are engaged in active care for immigrants, active resistance against the regime. Look at the folks in Minnesota right now. How can you look at them and the ways that they are resisting and not be proud of who we are as Americans? It's that tension around our national identity and how we feel about each other as human beings versus how we feel about the state and how the state is harming all of us and how America could be something different. We all deserve for it to be something different. Again, it's that tension, being proud of who we are as Americans, being proud of our neighbors, having solidarity with our neighbors, being proud of our choice to be courageous, to make intense sacrifices in this moment, to stand for what we believe in, and then also feeling heartbreak and shame and anger and tremendous sadness because of the sheer cruelty of the government and those who still support what the regime is doing. So thank you to all of the athletes who are willing to speak honestly. It's really complicated. It's really complicated. The feelings are not all good. They're not all yay America, yay patriotism, or God, this is a shithole and I hate everything. Right? It's complicated. We're proud of us, the American people. We're proud of our resistance. We're proud of the way that we are choosing to be and move in this moment. And also devastated that our government is causing so much harm and that we're in this position right now. Which then brings up the second thing that I thought watching these interviews, which is how courageous of these young people. It is an act of courage. It is a conscious choice to make statements like this. These young people didn't have to speak up, and they risk the ire of the President of the United States for speaking up while they are wearing an American flag, while they are representing our country in the Olympics. And they are daring to not speak in the rosiest terms about Donald Trump and the Republicans and this fascist regime. That is a risk that they are undertaking, and I know that it can seem small when celebrities and movie stars and musicians use their platform to speak out. These athletes, they just want to play their sport. They're not there to be public figures. They're not there to be political figures, and they are taking on risk. They're taking on the anger of a fragile narcissist running the United States of America. And it reminds me of how Tim Snyder says that saying no is an act of resistance. Choosing not to be compliant, choosing not to go along with what the regime wants you to do, that is resistance, and it's really important. Even if those acts seem small to us, it normalizes resistance. It normalizes speaking honestly about the state of things in this country, how it's not okay, how we deserve better, how people are sad and brokenhearted and angry over it. Being willing to wear a button or put a sign in your yard or make a public statement in a press conference that can seem pretty mild, right? There was no fuck Trump. There was no we got to stop this. It was very, very mild, but they were clear no's against the regime. They were very clear statements that took courage and statements that really matter. It is our choice to consciously resist, to say no, to be non-compliant in the small ways and the really big ways right now that will make all of the difference. It's not just being willing to get arrested. It's not just huge protests or general strikes, rent strikes, etc. Small acts of resistance add up. They are important. They are important. They are communicating to everybody that the resistance is everywhere, that we will not let this be normalized, that people who you don't expect to be resisting are resisting, that none of us are going to bend the knee. When you look at these athletes, and you may think they didn't say anything too aggressive there. Please understand that's an act of courage, and I think it is modeling to the rest of us how it's okay to speak honestly about our conflicted feelings. It's not only okay, it's good to step out in those small acts of courage, those small acts of non-compliance. I don't know, I watch these athletes and it makes me really proud to be an American, to see that there are so many good people in this country. A moment where the government is inhumane, violent, indecent, we have folks who are representing all of us who are choosing to be entirely decent, lean into their humanity and their compassion. I think our Olympic athletes do represent us. They represent us. They're modeling for us in this moment how it is that we address with other people, we address with our neighbors, we address with people in other countries, the truth of what it means to be an American right now. And also how we can resist in very normal, everyday moments. We can actively choose to be non-compliant, to demonstrate what no against the regime looks like in our every action. So I applaud these athletes for the way that they chose to speak in these interviews. If you're watching the Olympics and you're watching these athletes give these interviews, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Particularly if you're not from the States, how are you reacting to seeing our athletes and the way that they're representing us in this moment?